All right, I guess we're live.
Oh, we're live?
We are live. Yes, we are. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Outplay's Cold Call Battle. I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Harinie. I'm going to be hosting this event. I am the founder and CEO of Leadle. We are a go to market and lead generation partner for B2B SaaS companies. As a company, we've been associated with Outplay for over 3 years now. So, from the time that they were an SCP platform to, today, they are basically like this end-to-end sales tool, the one single thing that an SDR needs. It's been incredible to watch their journey. And it's also very heartening to see them go from strength to strength and also host the kind of events that we're having right now, like the cold call battle itself. Now, one of the things that I'm really happy is happening today is the cold call battle, and it's happening in different companies. And I'll tell you why. I have two reasons. No matter what channel works, I think cold calling always works, right? That's amazing. It gets you in front of your prospects. You have that time, your moment on the stage, so to speak, and you don't get that with any other channel. And the second thing is, as much as it works, it's incredibly hard. Guys, you could have been doing this forever, and then you can still have that off day when you go on a call and you really don't do great. So I think the idea behind the cold call battles is to kind of provide this platform, right, where SDRs and BDRs, all of this incredible audience that we have today, can learn from some of the pros that are here. So that's a thought process behind the cold call battle itself. Now, I've actually listened to two of the previous cold call battles, and I had some great takeaways that I was able to sort of go ahead and implement with my team, right? So that's what we're hoping for today as well. I'm going to go ahead and sort of jump in and introduce our participants for today, who are a little bit of a star cast as far as the outbound and cold calling space is concerned. So first off, we have Giano with us from Nooks, and he's the marketing and growth lead at Nooks. One other thing I also saw in his profile was that a year ago, his call was featured in Outplay's Call of Fame. And I was reading, Giano, that today you do more of a marketing role than a sales role. So how does it feel to be back in the trenches doing this cold call battle?
It's fun. I mean, we've had a few battles ourselves, a few competitions, tournaments, and my first ever time working with Nooks was when I did their cold calling battle over a year ago, and that was the first time I met Vishnu and Rohan as a participant. So it's fun and happy to be here.
That's amazing. So, you know how people are always talking about, does cold calling really work or not, right? And for me, I'm a big cold calling fan. As an agency owner, we run campaigns for 40 plus customers at any given time. And the one thing that works consistently for everyone is cold calling. So, what would be your number one tip for like a new SDR starting to cold call today?
Man, I forgot the answers I typed. I should have had them ready to pull up. But just some advice off the top of my head is just stay resilient. Like, there's definitely a learning curve at first, but then once you start seeing results and you start having positive conversations that turn into deals, it gets a lot easier to deal with the rejection.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for that. And now to introduce our next participant, that is Vishnu. Now, Vishnu has this really interesting profile, right? He's the founding software engineer at Nooks, but he's also a LinkedIn cold calling top voice. Like, what is that about? What is this profile?
Oh my goodness, Hardy, thank you for having me here. Thank you to Outplay as well. It's interesting. When I joined Nooks, there were about 5 or 6 people there, and everyone was doing everything. So it turns out I was just the first person to make a cold call out of Nooks, and I kept doing it for several months. Went on a couple of competitions. Got to know a terrific number of SDR managers, VP of sales, directors of sales, and SDRs themselves. In fact, we used to cold call SDRs, and they'd be like, "Why are
Wow.
you calling me? I have no decision-making power." We'd be like, "Oh, we want to learn about you and how you actually do cold calling." So by cold calling cold callers, I became a great cold caller myself. It's such
That's
a blessing.
amazing. That's such an amazing story. I think that's something that everybody can learn from today, right? Because so many young SDRs really want to be in the startup environment. And this is what it means to be in a startup environment, right? You sort of have to be willing to wear any hat. And that's what you're doing symbolically with that hat, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and welcome both of you. I'm really, really excited to be here. I know that no matter how long you do this, you're always going to learn something new. Oh, I see that Jake is here as well. I'm adding Jake to the stage. Hi, Jake, and back.
Alba.
Hi, Jake.
Hey guys, sorry,
Um,
had a little difficulties.
all right. So now I think that anybody
Welcome.
who's
Can you guys
seen
hear
a
me
Sandler
okay?
needs no introduction to Jake. He is a consultant at Sandler Training, and he also was the winner of one of the previous cold call battles that I listened to. Jake, I loved how you talked about applying this personalities even on the cold call. Big fan of that one. Thanks for being here. How do you feel about like your second cold call? Is it your second cold call battle?
I think this is my third actually, but
Wow.
I love it. I love getting the invites. Thanks for having me. This one was a little hectic, but I'm glad I was able to make it work. So sorry for running late, but excited to be here with you guys and participate. So thank you.
No, our pleasure. Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly sort of, walk through the event flow and the rules, and then we'll jump into the first cold calling block. For everyone's benefit, this is not going to be a live cold call. The participants are gonna basically go up against each other in a one-on-one battle, and we do this in three calling blocks, right? The first one is going to be Giano and Jake. If that's okay, Jake, you need a moment to catch your breath, or are you okay to do the first calling block?
Sure. Good to go. I'm always ready.
Oh wow, yeah. There you go, SDRs, always ready. Okay, the second calling block is for Giano and Vishnu, and the third one is going to be with Jake and Vishnu. So what we're going to do is you do this pitching for 3 minutes. You can sort of assign the prospect what persona, etc. And then once you do your 3 minute pitch, we sort of reverse, and then Jake will then pitch to Giano. We will then all come back on stage, sort of do a quick review of the call, feedback, what we took away from that, and then we'll do the second calling block and the third call block in this manner. Now, the winner, and I want to just say this is a disclaimer. I think all of these guys are going to be incredible at what they do. It's about who's having the best day today. The winner will be voted for by the audience. So, you guys, we are looking for your votes to decide who wins today's battle. Without any further delays, let's get started. Giano and Jake, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove myself and Vishnu from the stage. Just a moment.
Wait, hold on. So we're doing it's okay. Never mind.
Go,
Go ahead.
yeah. You were
So
saying?
we're doing like a 3 minute product pitch. Is it a back and forth, like the first half of a call, or like okay, got it.
Correct. So you're gonna pitch your product. So you're gonna pitch Nooks to Jake, and Jake is gonna pitch Sandler Training to you. You can sort of assign your ICPs to each other, like the persona to each other, and then go tring, however you want to start the call. So you get 3 minutes, and then after that we move to the next person. So Jake will then pitch to you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna remove myself.
Oh, it's really just us here, huh?
Okay, cool. So I guess do you reach out to CEOs, business owners, or yeah, who do you want me to be in this role play?
We're gonna have the same ICP, I'm pretty sure. So we're a sales tool, so we're both gonna probably be like VP of sales, right? Like that's who you sell to,
Okay.
also.
So yeah, I guess I sell to owners, VPs, yeah, just pretty much anyone in the C-suite.
Okay, cool. And then it sounds like I'm calling you first.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Jake. This is Giano calling with Nooks. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. Just pretty busy.
Cool. Well, hey, I'm reaching out from Nooks. Wanted to chat real quick about how your team's dialing and see if it might make sense to set up a demo for our parallel dialer. Would you have just a couple minutes to chat?
What do you mean, like how my team's dialing?
Yeah. So, first of all, have you heard of Nooks before? Are you familiar?
I've like heard of it, but I don't know too much about the product.
Okay. So, a little bit about us. We're an AI-powered parallel dialer and virtual sales floor. We help you 5x conversations by integrating with your tech stack, and we allow them to call multiple lines at once so they can connect instantly. So, are you using anything similar to that now, or is your team dialing just one-to-one?
Primarily we've just done like one-to-one calls.
Okay, cool. And this sounds like the first time you're hearing about parallel dialing. So, have you thought about upgrading your dialer to something that's AI powered so they can increase connects at all?
So I've heard of AI dialing, like power dialers and stuff. But we have like a pretty vetted list, and so my fear would be that people are just burning through opportunities because they are so like they're pretty warm leads, all of them that we call out to. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how would I be able to prevent that from happening if they're just trying to like do mass numbers as opposed to being very strategic and targeted?
Yeah, so I mean that's one of the benefits is it integrates with like, are you using Outreach or SalesLoft, HubSpot? What are they using kind of right now to keep track of their call tasks and who they need to reach out to?
Yeah, we're using HubSpot and Outreach.
Okay, cool. So what it does is it integrates with the call stacks they already have, and then it'll just execute their dials automatically using AI. So it's really exactly what they're doing already, except cuts out all the manual work and connects faster using AI to dial multiple people at once. So it's really just going to skyrocket their productivity, but it's not going to change the quality of who they're calling or burn through leads or anything like that. It's pretty much just a power dialer if you want to think of it that way. And there's a lot of other parts of it. There's a lot of other benefits, but I wanted to see if I can set you up on a quick call just to learn a little bit about what we do here at Nooks and how it affects teams and see if it makes sense for a free trial. Would you be open to setting that up?
Um, I mean, would you be able to send me some information?
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything I said in this call that stuck out so I know maybe can drill down to what I need to send you or what would be most helpful?
Yeah, I think I would be most interested in like seeing how it works, but also making sure that we're not like blowing through like a bunch of activities just to get like a bunch of calls in. But I'd rather be like more refined and be like, all right, here's the list. Like, let's say my team makes 40 dials a day, but they're talking to like half of those. So it's like 50% talk rate, right? So um, if the parallel dialer's just getting a bunch of calls in, but I want them to have more conversations, I don't really care so much about the calls. I'd be interested in having a discussion around that and see if it can actually help me.
Okay, so if I sent you like a case study of a company that's very similar to your vertical about how it's increased their talk rates and conversion rates, would that be kind of what you're looking for, or would that be helpful?
Um, yeah, I think that would be a little bit helpful.
Cool. And just so you know, we're not limiting it down to just reading. Could I put some time on your calendar after I send over the stuff to sit down and go over maybe your call strategy and how we can help execute that?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I'd probably only want to dedicate maybe like 10, 15 minutes to something like this. And then if that conversation goes well, then we could maybe book another meeting for a longer period of time.
Cool. All right, 15 minutes is great for a first call. I'm going to connect you with our AE, Marcus. He's worked with I'll just name drop some companies that sound similar. He's worked with X, Y, and Z, and we'll get you set up with him, and then go from there. Does Thursday at 10, whatever, blah, 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 rest of the booking.
Yeah.
Fun
Good for
booking
me.
stuff. Cool.
So that is amazing. That's one book meeting, and Jake, you were definitely not making it easy for Giano. So I think he had to pull out all of his skills to book that meeting. Thank you for that. I think there's quite a bit that we can learn and discuss about that call. So now we'll then move to Jake, you pitching to Giano. So same thing goes. You can assign the persona, and then we'll do the next call block. Is that okay? All right. Just
Sounds good.
off here.
Sure. Were you getting lag, Giano?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Were you getting any lag?
Yeah, it's kind of hard. There's
From
definitely
my
some lag between us. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I felt like I don't know if it's on my end or your end, so that's my bad if it is my end. But cool. So yeah, you can be like a CEO or you can be like a VP or someone that like is in charge of the sales team.
Okay, sounds good.
And here we go. All right, ring, ring, ring.
Hello, to Giano.
Hey, Giano, this is Jake.
Hey, Jake, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Not sure if my name sounds familiar. Jake Alba.
Who are you with?
With Sandler Training.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard of Sandler Training. Yeah. What can I do for you?
Okay, but my name doesn't sound too familiar.
No. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it would. Is it okay if I briefly explain why the heck I'm calling you, and then you can decide whether or not we keep talking or you hang up on me?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So, Giano, I actually reached out to a lot of business owners, sales leaders, and when they connect with me, they're telling me a few things that they're kind of frustrated with. One of the big ones is they say, "Hey, I'm concerned that my sales team are making a lot of calls, but maybe they're not booking a lot of appointments, and so we're potentially losing out on some revenue there." Another thing that they'll tell me is, "Hey, I'm frustrated because we are booking a lot of meetings, and then the appointment goes well, but then we get ghosted and people just don't show up, and so nothing ever converts." And then the last thing we hear is, the market's kind of crazy. It's hard to find A players, and people are kind of just jumping around quite a bit, and it's difficult to secure an A player, but then also maintain them and help them grow within the company. I guess I'll pause there. My guess is none of those have been a concern for you or your team.
What we deal with a lot is, I guess it's a little bit of C, like the last one you mentioned. We have a lot of people that I feel like we really have to push to get on the phones and stay on the phones. Maybe it's a talent issue. I'm not totally sure what it is, but we just can't really get them to want to make calls. And when they do, it just seems like they're not very high quality. Like they're not really pushing themselves to get better. And as a manager, my managers and I just don't have time to babysit all day.
Yeah. And has that affected overall revenue for the company?
It's hard to say. I feel like it'd be better if we had a better sales team for sure.
Yeah. And so I guess it would probably be maybe important for you guys, if there were a way to kind of be like, hey, let's stay behind the scenes, let's figure out what's going on and why these guys aren't making dials or why they're reluctant to pick up the phones. If we were able to kind of maybe have a conversation about that, would that be worth your time?
I don't know. What can you tell me? Maybe an example of how you've helped someone similar, or what's a solution you'd have to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's pretend your scenario is going on within an organization that I've worked with, right, where people just aren't picking up the phones, and and they just don't like doing the calls. Like, let's be honest, making cold calls sucks, right? And so you have to make sure that there's like an environment where people can succeed. And so with a company similar to yours that I was working with, what was happening is the data that they were receiving was pretty messy. And so what we were able to do is we were able to kind of figure out what was going on there and vet the prospects a little bit better. And when we were able to kind of uncover what was going on with that, the call volume instantly went up because people were having more conversations. People were hitting their quota. And the morale on the team changed from, hey, we have this massive call reluctance to this is actually exciting and fun because we're making money. And in turn, the company was making a lot more money and just snowballed, right? It was a pretty cool effect.
Okay, so it kind of starts with prospecting.
So I know I caught you out of the blue. Yeah, I think we would dive into it a little bit further. So I know I caught you out of the blue, and you're probably busy, as busy as I am as, you know, a sales leader. So would you be open to booking maybe a 10, 15-minute call to dive into this a little bit further when you're not so busy?
Yeah, I think so. I actually have one more question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We were considering
Yeah, go
implementing
ahead.
we were considering implementing a parallel dialing software. That way they can get to more conversations faster, which I think will kind of go hand in hand with your solution of helping prospect and have better data. Those two things might work really well together. Do you have any experience with parallel dialers at all?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. All right, Jake. Yeah, let's go ahead and book.
Absolutely. I actually have a good friend. I was going to plug you, dude. So hard. But cool. Book meeting. Nice job. Yeah, thanks, dude.
Okay, that was a very, very interesting two calls. So, first of all, Jake, what did you think about the call you got from Giano?
I think he crushed it. So I was not super easy on him,
Yeah.
and he did a really good job of not wimping out. Right, a lot of times when you get confronted with objections or people push back, right, they're not really pushing back because they don't want to meet with you. It's because they still don't know really what you do or what you have to offer. And so I think Giano did like a masterful job of explaining that and pushing past my surface level objections, right, or smoke screens to really uncover the truth behind what was really happening. And so I think you crushed it, man. I think you did a really good job. And if you keep doing that kind of stuff, you're going to be massively successful, which I'm sure you already are. So great work.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I saw that as well. I feel like it was almost like you could see him chipping away at, every one of your objections. And then slowly he got to that meeting. And that was absolutely masterful to watch. Great call, Gianna. Thank you. And what did you think about the call you got from Jake?
One thing I think Jake did really well that I didn't do is he really dug for pain.
Mm.
And one strategy you used that kind of blew my mind, I've never really done it before, was you listed like 3 potential issues, and then you said, I'm assuming none of those are an issue for you. And then you're kind of like, wait, yeah, they are. Like, what do you mean? Like, you weren't expecting, I wasn't expecting you to say that. So it kind of catches you off guard and maybe helps open up to sharing pain a little bit more. So you did a really good job of uncovering my real problems, which I thought was great. It was amazing. So great call.
Awesome.
Thank
Which is
you.
really the point of a cold call too, right? So.
Yeah, and Vishnu, any thoughts, comments? You're on mute.
I was on mute. Thank you. Yeah, both of you sold the use case really well. And I love how Giano said he's going to send a case study. I had some questions, though. So, Jake, I think you spent a good part of the intro kind of asking if your name was familiar. Now, for all the SDRs watching out here, how would your name be familiar? Like, what do you do pre-call that's almost as important as during the call itself?
Honestly, it doesn't matter if my name's familiar or not. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? Oh,
Yeah.
are we back? Sorry, I was lagging out. I
Yeah.
was just saying it really doesn't matter if your name's familiar or not. The whole purpose of that is a pattern interrupt. And so people are like most cold callers, right? They're like, "Hey, how was your day? How are you doing?" And they say things that alert the potential buyer, right, that this is a sales call. And once someone feels like it's a sales call, then the call is kind of over, right? And then you have an uphill battle, so you're fighting the whole way. And so the reason why I approach my is because it allows me to sound different and it gets them to start thinking critically right off the bat, right? They're like, should I know this person? And it creates this cool business stature, like equal business stature within the call, and it gets their mind automatically working. And so that's the purpose of it.
And that actually worked, by the way, because I was sitting there like, man, should people know? I was like, should I have said yes to that? You know?
Okay. Thank you.
Right?
I actually saw that Jake, you did this in the previous cold call as well. I'm curious, has this ever not worked for you, or does it work every single time?
So I think your tone and being able to identify the personality type that you're speaking to definitely gives you an edge. It doesn't work all the time, right? This isn't a perfect science. And cold calling, you'll get obliterated no matter how good your pitch is or how eloquent you speak. Like, it doesn't matter, it just happens, right? And so the purpose of having a good outline is what I'll call it, or a skeleton to your call flow, is to help you to be able to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, it backfires on me. My kryptonite is depersonality, super direct. Just kind of like the people that just like are like, hey, what do you want? I don't have a lot of time. And so that approach will backfire me if I use that. So a lot of times I'll have to adjust and speed it up and match them. Otherwise, I just get crushed. So yes, I do fail often, and I have to learn from that.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. I think we can now move on to the second call block. That's going to be Giano and Vishnu. Are you guys ready?
Born ready.
Okay. All right. I'm going to remove myself and Jake from the studio. Just one moment.
All right, Giano, are you going first or me?
I went first last time, and everyone just heard me go. So I think you should go first if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I asked the audience to give me their products, so I'll pitch it live. And Victoria Blessy said her product is Doc Sumo. So I'm gonna pitch Doc Sumo. Since you pitched Nooks so well, it's hard to compete.
Did you already? Did you just now research Doc Sumo?
I just researched it. Yes.
All right, this guy knows how to pump up a crowd. This is gonna be exciting.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, and if anyone else has any products they want us to pitch, just comment down below. So their ICP, based on one of their case studies, is CTO. So do you want to be a CTO at a document processing company, or maybe just have a lot of documents you want to process?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, ring ring.
Hello, this is Giano.
Hey Giano, this is Vishnu. I'm calling in from Doc Sumo. Do you have a couple minutes to talk?
I'm a little bit busy, but sure.
Sure. So you know how your company is probably seeing thousands of documents every single day, and with these days we try to digitize a lot of forms, but still you may have just a lot of information hanging around. And as CTO, Giano, it's very important for you to analyze and get accurate information in all the data that you're collecting every day. Um, does that sound like an issue to you, just having so much data that you can't make sense of it from your documents?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much an issue, and having too much data and dealing with data is an issue in a lot of different places. What do you guys do specifically?
Well, cool. Glad you mentioned it. Well, Michael Redman, CTO at Get Jones, he was actually facing the same problem as you. He had thousands of Accord forms every day just hanging around. and they started using DocSumo, and now they're able to get over 100 data points very accurately, automatically from all of their forms. Um, this kind of thing, Giano, I really got to show you, and I can just tell you how Get Jones and Michael, how their team uses our solution. Do you have a couple minutes, maybe like 10, 15 minutes today, like this afternoon?
This afternoon, Vishnu, I really appreciate your forward ask, but I'm a CTO and there's constantly issues. Can we book for a week out?
Yeah, we can do a week out. And also, just want to say, Giano, like, it's not going to be a standard demo. I'm not just going to run through slides. My AE is actually going to show you an example where we can do semantic clustering, size reduction, and kind of visualize all the text that's coming through your system every single day and show you exactly how to make sense of it. What about Friday, like Friday morning? How's your schedule?
Sure, fair enough.
Cool.
Okay.
That is an easy prospect, but I will say you did throw me some objections there.
Yeah, I don't know. Good
Okay,
job.
that was amazing. That was
Now I think I should have gave you more. Now I'm second guessing if I should have been harder.
No, that was great. I think, like there's a lot to sort of take away and discuss from this call, but then we'll sort of finish the other, call as well, and then we'll get into discussions. Giano, will you be pitching Nooks to Vishnu?
I mean, should I?
Pitch whatever you want.
Well, then I mean, does that fit with the format? And then I go twice?
Yeah, it does. It's fine.
Okay, all right. Oh, and then they go against each other next. Okay, I got it. Yeah, let's do it. Should I do Nooks again, or should I get creative?
Your choice. I'm up for anything.
I had to do a podcast where I sold visiting Austin. I had to do a cold calling role play. I had to sell because I wrote something about Austin
every single day.
I'm gonna just do Nooks. I'm not as brave as you.
Oh, Victoria Blessy said that was amazing. Thank you, Victoria. But I want to hear your calls though. It's probably way better.
Yeah, I'm not as brave as you. I'm gonna just go with what I know.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So you can be like a VP of sales, or like some sort of SDR leader, director of sales development.
Yeah, VP of sales works.
Cool. All right, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Vishnu?
This is who's this?
Hey Vishnu, this is Giano calling with Nooks. I'm reaching out. I wanted to chat a little bit about your SDR dialing, and see if a parallel dialer might make sense for your team and set a time for a demo. Would you have just a minute to chat quick?
I'm gonna save you some time, Giano. We already bought Outreach, and we also use Apollo for our CRM. So yeah, I think we're pretty much covered on the dialer side.
Oh, awesome! Did you just buy it recently?
Yeah, we're just switching over from Cellsoft. We bought it like 2 weeks ago.
Wow, congratulations. I personally am a huge Apollo fan, and I'm sure you see all their content on LinkedIn as well. So we actually integrate with both of those platforms. What are you using actually to dial out of?
We're dialing out of Outreach right now.
Okay, so you're just using their like internal dialer?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of manual work, is that right?
Yeah, I'd say it's been hard to get my team to go through the dials, but we have pretty good sequences and we have pretty good data, so not really too worried.
Okay, hey, look, I know you just bought something, right? And I know implementation is a pain and onboarding is a pain, so I know it's hard to jump right into another thing, but I just wanted to tell you about, for when you're ready, our parallel dialer, Nooks dialer, will help them execute those 5x faster at scale. And then it also gives you a virtual workspace where you can kind of watch. It reports back the analytics of their conversations for live real-time coaching. Do you have anything like that right now as far as the live coaching, or are you remote? What's that situation look like?
Yeah, we're remote, but we're trying to get some people back into the office in like Austin, Salt Lake City. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. What does your tool do? You said automate. I mean, we pretty much have our CRM automations all set up, and outreach as well has some automations. And for coaching side, we're pretty much like, yeah, all internal.
Okay, well, here's an example. So you said it's kind of hard to get them to use the internal dialer, and this is what happens with a lot of teams that are using outreach. They probably just have tasks stacking up, in their sequence. So they'll have like 300 call tasks due in one day, right? And then they just will get too overwhelmed to get through them all, and then they stack up and stack up and stack up. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, we actually try to say each rep is supposed to dial like 100 calls every day, but we get nowhere close to that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I've been a part of a few SDR teams myself that dealt with that. We work with SDR teams now that become customers that are dealing with that. And the solution we offer is that they can execute all those calls at 5x the speed through parallel dialing. It automatically calls all their due tasks 5 at once. They can get the 100 to 300 done in just a couple hours. And then they start actually enjoying dialing, right? Because it just becomes an hour or two tasks that they get done for their day. They have multiple conversations. They see results. They're not sitting there listening to a dial tone all day, which is what happens a lot with manual dialing. So it might be worth at least just looking at for now. Like I said, I know you just bought something, but would you be open to just learning a little bit, maybe exploring an option for a free trial, maybe this Friday with our AE Marcus?
Sure. Send me some information, maybe throw in a case study, and I'll look over it. I'll send it to our SDR manager, and we'll see what she thinks of it.
Okay. It's just so I know before I let you go, is there any hesitation into setting up time now if there's no commitment?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and do Friday. Does 10 o'clock work?
Works. All right.
Cool. Thanks, Vishnu.
Thank you, Giano.
I look forward to your team just crushing quota and you going to President's Club.
Wow, 2 more book meetings. So great call block again. I just wanted to say a couple of things, that really struck me about both of these calls. I feel like Vishnu, with inviting that, question from the audience about what product to pitch, I feel like you kind of demonstrated, like, to me, that one golden rule of like an SDR cold calling, which is to just do it. I know that we all have this tendency to just keep training and learning a bit more about the product and waiting until we are ready, but you're never really going to be ready. So this was a big, huge demonstration of that. Thank you for that. I really loved it. Also loved how you brought in the social proof there. And you went into the meeting pretty quickly as well. So is that how you generally do it?
Yes, I have 3 parts to my cold call. First,
Right.
I start with how, and try to put them in a situation, or try to put myself in an empathetic situation. And then I follow that up with some social proof. So if I were to pitch Nooks, I'd say, how it's so hard to book meetings over the phone. If you just had more conversations, you could book more meetings. Or for example, for DocSumo, you know how you're getting thousands of documents sent to you every day and you don't know how to make sense of it. Well, we'll give you 100 data points per document. And that's exactly what it says on their website, on their case study. So I can even pull in a name if it's on their website or on my website. I'll just be like Louise from Colum for Nooks, or like Get Jones, Michael from Get Jones for DocSumo. So I really want to tie in the second part, which is the referral, name drop, company drop. And it's important that the ICP lines up and the persona lines up. So if a VP of sales hears me talk about another VP of sales, they're going to be like, wow, they're in the same shoes and this works for them. Kind of SDR selling to another persona. It's kind of weird that way, because they're like, are you a subject matter expert? Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know my challenges? Have you been in my shoes? It's hard to expect. And the third part, the wrap up, is like, I don't want to keep you on the phone for long at all. The more you're on the phone, the more I can get objections, right? And objections in a cold call are so different from objections that an AE hears every single day. And those objections that AEs get are the raw product, market, or budget level objections that you want to be able to have a conversation with in a very timely manner. But objections on a cold call, for the most part, kind of like Jake said, nothing else matters, right? Whether they know you or not. It's literally you and the prospect real-time synchronous cold call. So you want to be able to just get them to book a meeting as soon as possible, and get them to show up to that meeting. And whatever you can say to get them to say yes, go for it. And if you have social proof, you should be confident. If you're helping people already in their shoes, why can't you help them? There's no reason to book the meeting. That's part
Yeah,
three.
that was amazing. It was incredible. And I also saw that like the objection that you threw at Giano was a really hard one. You just made a purchase. And that's a really, really hard one to crack, because most people in that scenario would just be like, no, I don't really want to look at anything. So I think that was expertly handled, Giano. It was really good. Vishnu, any thoughts, any comments on that?
It was brilliant. I mean, as I said earlier, when Giano spoke with Jake Alba, that was great. I would, kind of recommend to anybody, like Giano's approach of just going straight to the value add is often really useful. And one thing I would probably improve is that if someone else tells you they made a purchase, figure out what that purchase is, right? So in this case, I purchased Outreach. Nooks, I know because I work there, but it integrates directly with Outreach. So if you're buying stuff right now, sure, your CFO might be like, you have to stop buying, you have no more budget, but also they may be like I have some budget right now to spend on tools. It's like Q4, we're wrapping up the fiscal year. Maybe I'll buy a similar related tool that helps me get more out of the tool I just bought. So that's another angle to play. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. It could backfire, but it's your call.
Yeah, thank you. Jake, any thoughts? What do you think? How was this call block? Jake, are you there with us?
Yeah, I think he's just got a delay.
Lag.
Yes. Yeah, I have a weird lag. What did you ask?
I was just asking, what are your thoughts? How did you feel about this call block?
Oh man, I think there's a lot of good takeaways, right? And I think for me, the cool thing is you don't have to have like just one way of doing things, right? Like all three of us come from different, probably sales approaches, different opportunities, and different expertise. And as you can see, right, each one of these leads to book meetings. And so what I would encourage like everyone watching to do is just find out what works for you, make an outline of it, and then turn it into your own, because that's when sales become really fun, right? You don't need to be repetitive. You don't need to just be boring and robotic. But if you can literally just learn how to have conversations with people, figure out what the truth of the situation is, qualify or disqualify early, and just book those meetings, like that's the whole point of it, right? And so I think both of these guys are experts and they do a phenomenal job. It just goes to show like three different approaches can still lead to a similar outcome. So I would just encourage everyone to find what works for them and then just perfect it, become a master.
Absolutely, Jake. I really resonate with that, because one of the things that I have seen is any kind of cold caller can book meetings, right? Because there's no one single personality that can do a good job of it. Also, there's no one right approach. And I think one of the big, I want to say, drives behind Outplay's cold call battles is to sort of highlight that you have a lot of different people, different approaches, and for everybody watching, it gives them like these different techniques to try out and then figure something out for themselves that will be their call framework, so to speak. So thank you so much for that. Let's move on to the last call block for today. That would be Jake and Vishnu. Again, you can sort of go, whoever wants to go first can. Maybe Vishnu, you can go first if that's okay. And
Went
then
first last time. I'll give it to Jake. He hasn't been
Oh, yeah.
first.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. So, Jake, go first, and then like Vishnu will go after. I'm gonna remove myself and Giano from the stage.
Okay.
All right, all you.
All right. Hopefully the delay is not too bad. Good to see you again, man. It's been a minute.
I know. Last
Been
time
a
we were
while.
head
I
to head.
remember. I remember last time too, it was like, I think it was like one of your first times making cold calls, right?
First time's making it live, I think.
If I
Yeah,
remember
I've
correctly.
made it
But
privately.
okay, that's right. Okay, yeah. So, all right. Do we want to get like more creative? Do you want me to be like kind of like more crazy on this one, or do you want me to be kind of standard and steady?
I think you showed the steady part, so let's be as
What do
creative
you
as
think?
possible.
Okay. All right, we're gonna do some crazy stuff here. So let's see how this rolls out.
Jake, I think the lag
Okay.
is like
Ring, ring, ring.
much. Do you want to just call me on my cell phone? I just sent the cell phone in the chat. I think it'll be easier.
You think that the chat is? You think it's too crazy? The lag.
Yeah, it's like 10 seconds almost.
So do you want to just mute? You want to mute the volume then on Outplay, or how are we going to do this?
Yeah, call me on my cell phone and mute yourself on Outplay on the StreamYard.
Okay, and you'll just keep your audio so everyone can hear both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
It says you're not available.
Yeah, try again. I just turned off D&D. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, Jake.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, this is much better.
All right, hold on. Let me mute this. Okay. Well, I turned my audio off completely, so I can't hear myself on your end though.
Yeah, awesome. You want the audience will hear you through my phone.
Okay, cool, man. All right, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Vishnu, it's Jake Alba.
Jake Alba. The name is vaguely familiar. Sorry. Who do you work for again?
Yeah, I work for Sandler Training.
Oh, how are you?
Good. Or does that sound familiar?
I believe one of my reps told me about Sandler earlier, but yeah, I don't know what it is.
Okay. I gotta be honest. This is a cold call, so I hate making cold calls. You probably hate getting them. Do you want to keep talking, or should we just hang up now?
I got like a couple minutes before my next meeting. Yeah, sure. What's up?
Okay, I'll be brief. So Vishnu, I'm curious though. What did your rep say about Sandler?
I don't really recall. I believe we're looking at bringing in someone to help with sales training, but we have a very tight budget. So yeah, I've been telling everyone that we can't really be spending right now.
Yeah, for sure. And had that rep done Sandler at some point, or you just heard about it or saw us on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I don't think anyone has done Sandler before.
Okay, cool. Well, let me briefly explain what we do and who we work with. And if it looks like maybe it's worth a further conversation, you and I can keep talking. If not, you can kick me to the curb. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we work with a lot of companies, Vishnu, and a lot of business leaders. And a lot of times they're startup companies or they're teams that just aren't quite developed yet. And when they reach out to us, they're telling us things like, hey, we're kind of frustrated by the fact that we're hiring a lot of good people and we see the potential in them. But for whatever reason, it's taking a really long time to help them to ramp up and start hitting quota. You know, the other thing that they tell us when they reach out to us is, hey, we know that we need training. We know this, right? And we want to level up and we want to take the business to the next level. But a lot of the times we just don't have the budget. And so sometimes we have to get creative to see like how we could potentially make that work. And so that's a big issue for them. And then the last thing we hear is, you know, we're
we're kind of upset because we feel like we're leaving a lot of revenue on the table. And what I mean by that is a lot of times they say, hey, we just don't have the best processes. We feel like things are slipping through the cracks, and it really frustrates them. Let me pause there, Vishnu. My guess is none of that's probably relevant to your world, is it?
Well, I feel like we've developed a process internally that's pretty straightforward, and it's been working for us right now. But I do see the value in some of the earlier points you mentioned. Jake, can you send me an email? I gotta go right now, but be happy to look into this, and if the price is right, maybe we can move forward.
Yeah, I'd love to send you an email, but a lot of times when I hear that from people, it's just a nice way of them telling me they're not interested. Is that what's happening here?
I am interested. I'm just not sure I'd be able to commit to bringing on something immediately, but I just want to make sure I know my options.
Okay, is it okay if I make a suggestion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then I'll get out of your hair, I promise. So what I'll do is I'm going to send you over a brief questionnaire. That questionnaire is going to highlight how we've helped other companies, that maybe don't have the largest budgets. And it's going to highlight how we've been able to really work with their team and help them to fix those budgetary issues by bringing in a lot more revenue. And it's also going to highlight maybe some other things that you might be interested in. So if I send that over to you, are you open to filling that out and sending it back to me?
Yeah. If it's just a couple of questions, I don't see why not.
Okay. And then, are you okay if you and I just book a 10-minute follow-up right now on our calendars while we're on the phone to review that questionnaire?
Sure. Maybe 2 weeks out.
Okay. Are you just super busy and you just don't have the time for it, or I'm curious why so far out?
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna need some time just to look it over and also make sure you'd be the best fit for us.
Okay. Would you be okay if I booked it for, let's say, this Friday? Take a look at it. If you think it's garbage, it's not going to help you, and it's not worth your time, just send me an email. We'll cancel the meeting altogether. If there's some value there and you're like, hey, let's meet, then we'll already have it on the calendar. Does that work okay?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. So Friday, what time? 10 minutes. We'll keep it short. What time works for you?
10 a.m.
Okay. And if you email me in the interim and say, hey, I don't want anything to do with you, it's not going to hurt my feelings. We'll still be friends. And we'll go from there, okay?
All right. Thank you, Jake.
Talk to you on Friday.
Talk to you then.
All right, bye.
And boom, Jake does it again. I love how you do that, where he says, send me that email, and you do that confrontation right there. Talk about that a little bit more during the feedback section of this call block. While I'm here, just want to quickly tell the audience to please leave your favorite callers in the comments so that we can sort of announce the winner towards the end. And now we're going to go back to Vishnu pitching to Jake. Good luck, Vishnu.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Do you want to try the phone call or?
Did you want me to call again?
Yeah, that's probably better.
How is it? Is there a lag right now, or is it okay?
Yeah, there's a
Okay, I'll
pretty
call
big
you.
lag. Yeah. Hey, Jake. This is this Jake?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. This is Vishnu. I'm calling from Doc Sumo. This is a cold call. I just wanted to ask, do you have a couple of minutes to roll the dice?
You're with what, Sumo?
I'm working at a company called Doc Sumo, and basically what we do, Jake, is I work with a lot of CTOs just like you, and I assume you probably have thousands of documents coming your way every day, requiring some kind of input or analytics. Does that sound like something you're doing right now?
Do I have a lot of documents that I receive? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
yeah, I think, as a business leader, right, most people have a lot of documents that are kind of overwhelming them. So when you say documents, you're like email documents, you're talking about like compliance documents, like what kind of documents are you talking about?
I'm talking about everything, Jake, from risk assessment to reports from your customers, as well as just forms that you're getting in and you got to sign and send back.
Yeah, I get a lot of documents.
Yeah. And in fact, just earlier, I was working with Howard Liner. He was CTO at Arbor, and he's seeing the same issue. Oftentimes, documents came in, like especially risk assessment, that if you don't look into immediately, then you just kind of lose it. So what we do is we analyze using AI all of your documents, and we give you at least 100 data points per analysis, and we give you that extract data right to your database, so you can make sense of it and then make informed decisions. Um, this kind of thing, I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to show over a phone call. Do you think you have like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to meet me in a Zoom? And I'll just screen share and I'll show you how other CTOs are dealing with this problem.
So you guys just analyze the data, or do you guys actually store it, or do you like respond to stuff? Like, I'm confused.
Good question. So we actually combine semantic clustering, and we reduce sizes of documents. We summarize it and we chunk it and analyze the sentiment. And we actually let you visualize the text inside of our tool so that you can see that analytics. And it's up to you if you want to export it into your own database or data analytics provider.
And so how does that help businesses?
Well, right now you're just seeing those thousands of forms, but you have no way of actually automating and understanding what's in those forms. And right now, unless you or your staff manually look through every single document, you're not going to know what's important and what needs more attention. So we just help surface the most important data points to you.
Oh, okay, cool. No, I think that sounds interesting.
Awesome. You know what? Let's book some time, maybe like later tomorrow afternoon. Does like 2 p.m. work? And also, I'll send you over exactly how Michael, a CTO at Get Jones, is using DocSumo, and you'll be able to see how we are able to solve their problem.
I probably won't read it just because I get 1,000 emails and it's not a huge priority, but I am open to meeting with you. So how about we just meet, but I can't do tomorrow at 2, but I could do Thursday at 10 a.m.
Sure. Thursday works.
Okay. And then, so I think it'd be more beneficial for you just to show me and walk me through some stuff rather than send me a bunch of stuff to my email, because I probably won't even look at it.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I'll show you exactly how other folks in your shoes use DocSumo. But sounds good. Talk Thursday.
Okay. See you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Wow. What a rush.
And we are back. All right. So this time I'm going to ask Giano first. What did you think about the 2 calls that you just saw? You're on mute.
Whoops. All right. First thing I want to say about Vishnu's call is it's really brave to call about a product that you just learned about. I mean, SDRs have month-long ramp times for a reason, and to pitch something without any context, not knowing other customer stories, I mean, that's really brave. So that added a lot of value to, I think, for the people watching and for us, and made it entertaining, and good job on that. You added value instantly, very product heavy about a product you just learned about 2 minutes ago. So that was great. For Jake, the thing I like that Jake really does is he uncovers pain. So he's really digging to find like a pain point that he can use, and then he forces the prospect to really say no. So some of it is a little like, maybe it wouldn't work as well with my personality, to be honest, but it's like, you're not afraid to hear no. And I really like that, because some people are scared to say no, but you're really making them like, are you going to come to this, or are you going to tell me a hard no? So I really respect that too.
Yeah, I really like that about what you did, Jake, as I said, because a lot of times one of the most common objections you hear is send me an email, and all of us know where that email is going to go. So to be able to sort of pick up on that and really just confront them with that fact, it takes a lot. Exactly like Giano said, it's about being willing to hear that no. And also, I think what you're doing is sort of protecting your time, right? In a certain sense, you want to make sure that the people that show up to that meeting actually are interested. And I also love how you use that questionnaire because it gets them to commit just a little bit more to that next meeting. I thought all of those things were extremely well done. That was like my, like that was my takeaway from this call. And Vishnu, going all the way with Doc Sumo, I really enjoyed that. And it seems to me as if like from the first time to the second time, you seem to have picked up a little bit more information about the product. So I really like that too. You must have been furiously researching while you were away from the stage. Fantastic call logs. Any thoughts about like the calls to each other? Vishnu, Jake, anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I will kind of say, Giano summarized it perfectly. Jake makes the prospect say no, and most importantly, Jake makes the prospect come face to face with their pain, and that's like an AE first approach, bringing it to the cold call, and that's something I really like. About my own call, actually, I was not researching it at all. I didn't look at the website other than when Jake was on the phone with me. So it's kind of a point to the fact that research your ICP, but you don't necessarily need to research your product or even know your product as much. It helps. But all I did, and kudos to DocSumo for a good website, I just went on docsumo.com. I went to the case study section. I picked two names from there. They have two quotes. And then I opened up a white paper by somebody else on why document analysis is important. So I just had two things: customer referrals and what the problem is. And most importantly, the problem came from not the company itself, but it's just a research paper about document summarization. So sometimes the company may present the problem in a biased way. You should do your own research on what the problem is and just bring, like Jake did, the prospect face to face with the problem or what pain they have.
Thank you. Because we're, running short of time, I'm not going to take a lot of questions from the audience. Just one. I think this is something that resonates with every SDR and BDR. And being a good SDR is really about how you handle yourself emotionally. So the question is, how do you deal with the rejections day in and day out? Jake?
You have to be resilient, right? And you can't take it personally. And so I think having equal business stature, but also coming from a place of true abundance is the key to not getting affected emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always talk about emotional intelligence, and I think that's one of the most important things you can have. And so a lot of people will take a no or someone yelling at you or swearing at you as a personal attack, but it's not you, right? You're not your role. And so I think the main takeaway here is a lot of times when you ask someone, hey, what do you do? They say, oh, I'm a salesperson. And they identify with themselves being a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson, right? I'm me. I'm an individual. And that's way more powerful than like what I am or what I do. And so when I go into calls, I know that I am just as important as the person. And so I really force them to qualify me, but I'm also qualifying them as well. So I'm okay to walk away from any sale. I'd rather have a hard no than someone string me along and just ghost me for months. I don't play that game. Like, I'm not a pest. I'm a human. I won't buzz around and bother you. And I've told people on the phones, I won't chase you. If this is important to you, we'll make it work. But I'm not the type of person that's going to chase you and follow up and bug you until you sign something. Like, that's just not how I play the game. So that would be my advice.
That's amazing. And I think that comes from a place of very high self-worth, right? Like a lot of times I think SDRs struggle with this feeling of I'm imposing on the prospect. But then when you flip that and you sort of look at it as you're there to kind of find out if there is a pain and if you can add value. And when you really believe that yourself, I think it's relatively easy to sort of think the manner that you're talking about. Thank you so much for that, Jake. So we do have a winner, and this cold call battle, I think it goes to Vishnu. I think
Wow! Thank you. That's insane.
Incredibly brave, and then it really paid off for you in many ways, Vishnu. I think today you're a favorite. But that said, I think we learned so much from all the cold calls that we saw today. Thank you so much, Vishnu, Giano, and Jake, for being here today and for teaching us your tricks. And before we sort of, end today's battle, I really want to, sort of call off Outplay's Call of Fame. Now, Call of Fame is a place where an SDR or a BDR can submit a real live cold call recording that has landed them a lot of meetings. And then if that is selected, it will be published there. So if you are an SDR or a BDR and you have like a call to submit, please go ahead and do that. With that, we're going to sign off for today. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Gianna. Thank you, Harinie. Thank you, Outplay.
Bye.
Thanks.